Hey guys, I made paper decorations for Halloween, and here's what I did. For the first craft, I made these spiderweb houses. I used the paper house templates that I made last Christmas. I printed the templates on cardstock and cut them out. I left the windows uncut and I folded the tabs and sides. Then I painted the front of the house black. I also painted the back of the chimney and around all the edges so the cardstock color wouldn't show. After it dried, I added my design. I made lines using a white pen and straight edge. For the areas I wanted to make the spider webs, I intersected 4 lines in one spot. I aligned the sides of the house and marked where to continue my lines. I did the same thing to the roof. With this pen, I did have to go over all the lines again to get solid white lines. Near the center of the spiderweb spot, I connected each line with an arc. I made longer arcs further away from the center. Next, I glued the tabs and assembled the house. You could leave the top tabs unglued and add treats on a fake spider. And here's how it turned out. For the next paper craft, I made this bat wall hanging. I used the bat template that I made last Halloween. I printed it out and cut out my template. Next, I traced the bat onto black cardstock multiple times and cut them out. I made 9 bats. Then I painted a dowel black. This will be used to hang the bats. I laid out the bats and cut long pieces of black yarn. I cut 6 pieces for the 6 columns of bats. Align the ends of the yarn to find the center. Drape it over the dowel and bring the ends through the loop created, creating a lark's head knot. Repeat this with the rest of the yarn. Next, I glued each bat to a piece of yarn. Then I hung the wall hanging. I wrapped and knotted the other pieces of yarn over the dowel. Trim the extra yarn and your bat wall hanging is done. For the third paper craft, I made a Halloween sign. I wanted to add this text on my letterboard, but I didn't have enough letters. You could add letter stickers to a poster board, use stencils to paint the letters, or have the sign printed somewhere. I definitely chose the tedious, time-consuming option. I made the sign on a 14 by 17 inch Bristol board. I typed out the text and printed it on regular printer paper backwards. Then I went over each letter with a pencil. I faced the letters of the printout toward the board. Then I pressed the letters with a pencil so that the letters would transfer onto the board. I wanted the background to be black, so I painted around each letter. Then I erased the pencil marks and hung my sign. And here's how the Halloween paper decorations turned out.